What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Club and Country. This is episode number 75, and we start today's episode off with an international management offer from Uruguay. So still waiting for the Spain job, and of course we do reject Uruguay, but I'm sure Spain will come in eventually. And also Stade coming to us regarding Ruben Blanco. So many transfer offers for our goalkeeper, and of course we say no. We then had a transfer offer for Jesse Rodriguez, who signed in the summer. Now he's the main reason we are where we are in the league, and FC Twente said, can we take Rodriguez for £10.5 million? And I was like, give us 70 million. Give us 70 million pounds. And they came back to us and said, we'll give you 12.5. You know, that's almost 70 million, isn't it? And of course I said no. I didn't really see the point. It's just because I looked at the chief executive comments and he gave us an estimation of, you know, up towards 63.9 million pounds, and they might accept it. So I thought if I can get around that fee, then I'll probably say yes, because as much as I love Jesse Rodriguez, we can just completely rebuild the Racing Santander team. But in all honesty, I knew it wasn't going to happen. So there you go. That's not going to happen. Also, more bids for Ruben Blanco, and also one bid for Sergio Buenacasa, and he is going to leave the club on loan to SD Eibar. And it's a real shame, because Buenacasa, 69 overall, does look as though he's locked in for his potential, isn't going to grow anymore, which is a real shame, because in the first couple of seasons, well, you know, since the start of the, well, yeah, definitely in the first couple of seasons he was fantastic, and then the third season, the first half of the season he was terrible, in the second half of the season he started to get a little bit better, but this year he hasn't really been playing. He's been pretty much, you know, just fed up and sick and tired of being on the bench, to be honest. So he wanted to leave the club. I let him go out on loan, and you know, hopefully he'll recapture his goal scoring form at SD Eibar, but we'll have to wait and see. But I realised that because Mariano got sold as well, we were sort of running light on the striker position, so I put in a loan bid for this guy, Daniel Ruano Delgado, who's an 18-year-old new gen / regen, currently at Villarreal. I also put a future fee in of £1 million, and as you can see, he's 67 overall at 18 years old, valued at £500,000. The stats aren't bad for only a 67 overall rated player, and as a cover player he's on less wages than Buenacasa, only 2 overalls lower than him. And, you know, because Buenacasa looks as though he does have a potential glitch, it means that he's probably going to develop more than him. So I'm contemplating possibly taking up that £1 million future fee at the end of the season with Villarreal, and then just selling on Buenacasa, even if he doesn't, you know, end up being valued at £1 million come the end of the season. Because I'm confident we could probably at least make a profit on the guy, if nothing else, in the future. But we'll have to wait and see. Still, he was our only deadline day signing. It was, you know, one of the worst transfer deadline days ever for Action, and I can only apologise for that, because on YouTube, career mode YouTubers, whenever deadline day comes around, it's always really exciting for us, because we're always like, oh, what big signings can we pull off, and then show the audience what we've done. You know, everyone's going to be really excited for it. That one was just the worst I've ever done. I think it was absolutely terrible, just one player coming in on loan. But of course, here at Racing Santander, with the budget we've had, you know, you've got to expect that. Really, we're going to be dealing with the low salary and the low transfer fees for quite a long period of time. You'd imagine anyway, at least for the first few seasons, which it has been. But still, following that, deadline day ended, we signed one player on loan, we let one player go on loan, and that was it really. So apologies for making it a very boring deadline day for you. Regardless, we then had a useful monthly report, and we also had a squad report as well. I've mentioned before with young Han Eluse, I can't pronounce the guy's name, but you know who he is. What we're going to be doing with him as opposed to when we promote him. We are probably going to go ahead and wait until May to promote him for a second May boost, and the reason being is quite simple. I took to Twitter last night, it's the 20th of February for me, and last night I took to Twitter and basically tweeted a couple of career mode guys who know about youth scouting more than me, and they gave me a bit more information on the May boost. And basically, because Elise, despite being 15 years old at the time when May came round last season, because he's already gone through a May boost, his physical attributes still won't grow, because obviously we couldn't promote him when he was 15 years old pre-May. So because he's already gone through one May boost, his physical attributes are basically locked in, which is a real shame. There was nothing we could really do about that, to be honest. But so what we're going to do is wait until this year's May and then promote him for a second May bump. So yeah, hopefully it'll turn out to be even better than he already looks. I know I've seen quite a few comments from people saying, oh my god, you should promote him now, but yeah, we're going to wait until May and promote him then, because he'll get an even bigger bump than he was probably going to get previously. So there you go. That's basically the deal with young Hanalisi. I've seen loads of comments regarding his development and when's the best time to promote him, but after talking to the experts last night, they let me know it's worth waiting until May for a second May bump, as his physical attributes won't increase regardless of whether we promote promoting pre-May this year, or post-May anyway. Still, we take on Almeria for the first game of today's episode here as they travel to El Sardinero. Now, taking on this team is going to be quite interesting because they are so far the only team to beat us in La Liga. So, coming into this game, it was one of those games where I was sitting there thinking, despite our home form this year being impeccable, haven't lost a single home game this year, I came to this game thinking, you know, they beat us away from home. They were the first side to beat us this season. They're the only side to beat us in La Liga. I feel as though we could probably lose for a second time against them. So I don't know what it was, but in the game where we did lose to them, I just didn't really feel up to the challenge, to be honest. And coming into this game, despite all the early chances in the first half coming to us, we were still tied at 0-0, and the goalkeeper was having a fantastic game, and I just couldn't seem to put the ball in the back of the net. And I thought it's probably just going to be one of those games where nothing really goes right. And in the 55th minute, Almeria did go close there with that header going over the bar. A few minutes later, though, a great chance for us as Paco Candela goes down his left-hand side and takes on his man. Takes it past him and finds Oliver Torres, and again, the goalkeeper, Julian, was having a fantastic save and just kept denying every single shot we put on target. So it was still 0-0 in this game. In the 65th minute, again, we come through with Pedro Obiang finding Rubinho. He gives it to Oliver Torres out wide towards Paco Candela. Slides it through towards Rubinho as the academy products link up there and back to Oliver Torres. Torres finds Pedro Obiang, who has space to shoot and does so, and it goes just over the bar and behind for a goal kick. So still goalless in this game. The frustration really was telling because Almeria had one chance, yes, but for the most part it was all us. We were piling on the pressure, but we just couldn't seem to find the back of the net. And from the goal kick we win it back with Oliver Torres. He finds Rubinho into Perez, a roulette's around his man and shoots, and again it's Julian making a fantastic save and Almeria getting the ball away. So still goalless, and it looked destined to finish as a goalless draw until the 88th minute when we finally did take the lead, and it came through Ayoza Perez, the former Newcastle striker who I believe played for Tenerife before joining us, but still Perez heading the ball in and making it Racing Santander 1, Almeria 0. And you know, Perez this season, he's been a pretty decent striker. He's had a couple of little injuries, but he's been a very, very decent striker whenever we've called upon him. He's got his 5th goal in La Liga this year, and you know, Rodriguez may have been the better signing for us this season, but Perez has still contributed with a few goals and a few important goals as well, just like this one. He wins us the game with just a couple minutes to spare, and we do get revenge on Almeria with the 3 points. So delighted with that. It was a frustrating game. I didn't think we were going to break down Almeria's defence and the goalkeeper, who was having a fantastic game. In the end, I thought it was going to finish 0-0 because of the way the game planned out, but in the end, I was very pleased we did get the winner thanks to that late header by Ayoza Perez, and we continue this fantastic run in La Liga. Still following out, we had a scout report as well. I've mentioned before, Raul Luis Francisco has only found us 1 or 2 players that actually look pretty decent from this scout report, which is a real shame. But, you know, it's one of those things really. Whenever I feel like I search for a specific type of player, I never really get too many results. Whenever I search for any type of player, I tend to get better results. I don't know why that is. Maybe there's some science to it. Maybe it's just me with a bit of bad luck or just doing something wrong. Probably that one. But, yeah, it's a shame. We haven't really found too many great wingers, which is what we're looking for at the moment. But regardless, it's not a big deal. We still got some good academy products in our academy right now, including young Hannah Lucy, and a couple more got added there as we signed a couple to the academy. Still, we have our second game of today's episode here, our second and final game as we travel to take on Villarreal for this game. And Villarreal haven't had a bad season so far, but are desperate to get themselves back into the Europa League places. So coming into this game, we had our Europa League tie in midweek as well against Galatasaray, so I rested quite a few players. And in the 4th minute, we did take a bit of a surprise lead as well. Mamadou Tunkara heading the ball in, and the capper with some fantastic persistence down the right-hand side. Wonderful pace by him as well, and what a ball that is. That was superb from our right midfielder, finding Mamadou Tunkara in the centre, and he heads it in and makes it Villarreal 0, Racing Santander 1. So the perfect start to this game, and despite resting a lot of players, we did take an early lead. And a few minutes later, a great chance to make it 2-0. Keiko turns his man and eventually keeps hold of the ball, finds Christian Portu, and his strike goes over the bar and behind for a goal kick. But even so, the early start coming to us, we were looking much more threatening than the home side. But in the 16th minute here, Villarreal come through with Uche. We pushed forward our centre-backs, and Uche had the pace to hold off the challenge, but the shot was well saved by Ruben Blanco and we got the ball away. So still 1-0 in this game. And in the 21st minute we come through with Madran making a challenge on Pina and picking out Keiko. Keiko has a runner in Mamadou Tunkara, who got our first goal. As we hold the ball up here, take it Brown, his man, he finds Keiko. Keiko plays it back inside towards Tunkara. Those two linking up really nicely early on, and Tunkara almost got his second goal of the game, but his shot went just wide the post and behind. So still 1-0, but a lot of early chances for both sides. However, in the 45th minute, a silly error with me, with Marian Schwarzer. I tried to backheel the ball out of danger and give it to our left midfielder, and instead I gave it straight to a Villarreal player. Eventually it was cut inside towards Aquino, and Javier Aquino put the ball past Ruben Blanco and made it 1-1. So a nice finish into the bottom corner there. I thought it might have taken a slight deflection, but probably not, and Javier Aquino makes it 1-1. But still, that was my mistake for giving the ball away with Schwarzer and trying to play out from the back fancy. In the end, it turns out to be a stupid decision. So it's 1-1 and Villarreal are back on level terms. 5 minutes after the restart though, Tunkara comes forward and shoots, and the goalkeeper has to make a good stop and turn it behind for a corner. So still 1-1 in this game, and it was a really open game. So many chances for both teams. One of those games in career mode where you know it's balanced on a knife edge and it could go to either side. And a great chance here for Villarreal to grab themselves what could have been a winner in the 79th minute, but Ruben Blanco made a very good save to deny Sousa Pena, and it was still 1-1. But in the 81st minute, there were a long ball forward from the goalkeeper was flicked on, and João Pereira went through one-on-one and smashed the ball past Ruben Blanco and made it Villarreal 2, Racing Santander 1 with just 8.5 minutes to go. So that was really frustrating. The goalkeeper just launched the ball forward there. It was flicked on, and somehow my defence were all over the place, and Pereira was one-on-one with the goalkeeper and he couldn't miss. So Villarreal get themselves the goal to put themselves in front and make it 2-1 to Villarreal, as they are surely going to win the game and become just the third side to beat us this year and the second in La Liga. But how about this? Directly from kickoff, we go down the left-hand side and pick out Almeria off the bench. He fake shots around his man, crosses the ball in. No, he doesn't cross the ball. It comes to Schwarzer, and Schwarzer crosses the ball in. And who wins the header? It's Ruano Delgado, making his first start for the club since arriving from Villarreal on loan. The club he's on loan for, starting at the club he plays for technically permanently, and he scores against them as well, but it is disallowed for offside, and correctly so. So that would have been very interesting had he grabbed us an equalising goal there, but it was ruled out for offside, and correctly so. Still, the final score was 2-1 to Villarreal, so very disappointed to lose for just the third time this season and the second in La Liga, and we just have to bounce back in the next game against Galatasaray in the Europa League. So as always guys, a big thank you for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, please leave a like, and I'll see you for the next episode of Club and Country very soon.